pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Kitchen. Councilman Morrow.
Here.
Councilman Secreto.
Here.
Councilman Van Cleek is excused. Supervisor Quigley.
Present, and thank you very much, and welcome to the Town of Ulster Town Board meeting for Thursday, October 21st, 2021. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Okay, no cited, noted. Is there anyone here tonight who would like to make public comment on the agenda items as they are listed on the agenda? Sir,
Yes, I was
go ahead. What are you commenting on, sir?
on the dispensary decision.
Okay, we will be having a public hearing at 7:10 where you can put those comments into the record.
7:10.
That clock is wrong. But 7:10 according to Verizon, I got 7:03.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, are there any other comments in reference to agenda items? Thank you very much. Gentlemen, in your packages tonight are the town board minutes for the September 2nd Town Board Workshop and the September 16th Town Board Meeting. May I have a motion to accept the minutes as
So moved.
presented?
Second.
And a discussion on the minutes? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Clerk, do we have any communication?
No communications.
Mr. Secreto, the abstract of claims, please.
Abstract of claims for October, have been going down over by the town board. I'll read the figures to you. Prepaid bills, $644,841.61. Abstract bills are $614,492.30. Escrow was $4,250. Reserve account was $296. And the fund total for October was $1,263,879.91. With that being said, I ask for a motion to pass the abstract for October 2021.
Any discussion on the abstract? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. There are no budget modifications to tonight's agenda. Proceeding to new business. The first item is a presentation and acceptance of the town clerk's monthly report for the month of September 2021. Ms. Clerk, is there anything that we should note in the report in the record?
Nothing notable. The only thing I did was made adjustments from two transactions that I adjusted the month prior, and they are written in there, and everything balances.
Very good. Thank you very much. May I have a motion to accept the town clerk's monthly report for the month of September? Second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, the next item on your agenda and in your package is the monthly supervisor's report for the period of January through September 2021. It is a 9-month report that has been distributed via email to everyone here. It will be presented to the public by posting on the town's website after the town board accepts the report as presented. There is nothing to note out of the ordinary in this report.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, I want to take the next two items out of order. The first one is a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Bernier and Larios in the amount of $7,780 for the preparation of a plan, map, and report to submit a 2021 New York State EFC WIA grant application for the Ulster Water District 500,000 gallon South Tower. And at the same time, I'm asking for a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Blower Associates in the amount of $1,500 for the preparation of the 2021 New York State EFC WIA grant application for the Ulster Water District 500,000 gallon South Tower.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, just for the record, the grant application is due to EFC by November 22nd. This is the same funding program that the town is currently using to construct the Halcyon Park water tank. So all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to authorize the supervisor to open a new checking account at the Bank of Greene County for the Spring Lake Sewer Project Phase 2.
So
Do
moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. For the record, this is the grant, the project for which the town submitted a grant application under the CFA process in June of 2021 with an expected decision to be rendered by the state agencies by December. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Annually, since the death of Mr. James Maloney, our town assessor, who championed the dark store theory of valuation and its legislative restriction in being used in a tax certiorari action, the town has been called upon by the Association of Towns to pass an annual resolution calling on the governor and the state legislature to enact and support legislation to eliminate the dark store theory in New York State real property tax law as a way to reduce property assessments in tax certiorari proceedings in New York State. Purpose of this resolution is to put it on the agenda for the New York State Associations of Towns for their legislative agenda for 2022. May I have a motion?
So
Motion
moved.
made.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Reedy, the next item is yours.
On the agenda is a resolution authorizing the town clerk to accept credit cards and ACH payments in the town clerk and tax collector's office. I brought this to the attention of the board. I thought we had done this previously, but in talking to another town clerk, I realized through searching our records that we had not. We do accept credit cards in the town clerk's office, and according to general municipal law, New York State, it is a requirement of the town board to either pass a local law or resolution allowing the town clerk's office to collect credit cards or any value transfer devices through an agreement with a company, which we did sign an agreement with Municipay back on March 2nd, 2017. So this resolution supports the ability for my office to collect credit cards and ACH payments in the town clerk and tax collector's office.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, federal funding was provided to the town under the ARPA program earlier this year. And one of the allowed uses was to make premium payments to town workers who were considered essential and worked through the pandemic in 2020. Recently completed memorandum of agreement settling the labor contract between the town of Ulster. The town of Ulster PBA requires that the town of Ulster make a payment to the PBA members who were employed here in 2020 for their services to the town during the pandemic. This resolution is appropriating the funds from the monies that we have received from the federal government, and I would ask for a motion to accept the resolution as presented.
Motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Could you tell us the appropriated money for individuals?
I'll distribute that to you later in an email. Basically, full-time employees got $2,000 for their time of service. And the individual employees got $1 an hour. The part-timers got $1 an hour maximum. No, there was no maximum, because most of them were under $1,500, 1,500 hours.
And the rest was 84,000 total.
So it's an $84,000. Does that satisfy your inquiry? I'll still distribute the,
All right.
to you later. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on our agenda relates to a planning board action that was referred to the town board. It is a resolution declaring unlisted action under seeker and referring all space storage at 1693 Ulster Avenue, Kingston, section block and lot 39.19-3-24 to the Ulster County Planning Board. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Reevy, the next item is yours.
Another resolution on the agenda is a resolution authorizing a change in town policy to reflect amendments to public officers law. Each year at the organization meeting, the town board passes its regular policy establishing that any material that is to be on that week's, meeting agenda has to be handed in by the Tuesday prior to that meeting by 4 p.m. That's a standard policy that is passed each year. Just 2 days ago, on October 19th, the governor passed and signed into legislation some new legislation promoting transparency in local government, requiring that local municipalities make available to the public and post on its town website all meeting materials that are going to be reviewed at that week's meeting. The current law requires that documents that are going to be discussed at open meetings be made available on request or on the town's government website 24 hours before the meeting. These materials include resolutions, laws, rules, regulations, policies, amendments, to be made available upon request and posted to our website, which we do now. We do post every item prior to the scheduled meeting, but this new legislation requires that it is posted 24 hours prior to the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Note that it's zoning and planning too.
Yes, this includes all open meetings that are in the town of Ulster, including zoning, planning board, and the town board.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on the matter? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about 7:14 according to Verizon. We have a 7:10 public hearing scheduled for the town board to take into consideration public comment on the regulation of cannabis within the boundaries of the town of Ulster. Recent New York State law changes allow the town to regulate and permit distribution through a retail outlet, and also regulate and permit public consumption in a lounge setting. It's an either or both. The town has the ability to say yes now on one or both. And if it says yes now, it cannot change to a no at some point in the future. It also has the right to say no on either or both now and reconsider the matter in a year from now. It is the town board's consensus that this is such an important decision. We need public input. We have not made up our mind where we want to go. We would like to hear from the citizens in the community as to how they feel about it. So I ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sir, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please can proceed.
Good evening, board. How are you? My name is Kevin Reginato. I live in 112 Glenary Boulevard in Saugerties. I'm a local business owner. I'm also on the town zoning board. I'm here today to try in hopes of convincing the board to not opt out of allowing the cannabis dispensary business in the town of Ulster. I noticed when I walked in the sign here that says the Hudson Valley's gateway to beauty and business. The beauty is given, especially this time of year with the foliage and all that we have, but the business, I think we can do better. I believe the increase in tax revenue, the job growth potential, and the investment opportunities should be a powerful incentive for this board to be in favor of this business. Legal sales across the United States in 2020 hit a record of $17.5 billion, a 46% increase from the previous year. Emerging markets like Illinois, which expands its market from medical to include adult use, are seeing the largest dollar gains. These are new markets that are coming in, rising by over $750 million. These are all numbers during a pandemic. This business has proven to be a recession-proof. So I've looked at a few studies. I've been very busy. I haven't been able to dig as deep as wish I could, but briefly, cannabis retailers take the market away from underground suppliers, which diverts it from the underage market, just like a liquor store. You know, they'll be IDing people. You'll be getting that off the streets. Retail cannabis is associated with reduced opiate consumption by the general public. It's a safer and smarter alternative to medicine. And the dispensary clientele tend to be older and value specific strains, sort of like a fine cigar or fine wine, things like that. You know, this isn't a market of teenage kids walking into a convenient and picking up a couple beers or something like that. This is becoming a very sophisticated market. And I encourage everybody on this board to really do their research and just understand what's happening with this. So as I was saying, this is a sophisticated business with similarities to the alcohol business, maybe even more sophisticated in that connoisseurs of cannabis are resembling fine wine or cigar consumers. So I hope this board takes these things into consideration. Just today, I read that the town of Saugerties, Supervisor Fred Costello is in favor. I know that doesn't mean the board there would vote it, but I'd hate to see us be behind the curve. You know what I mean? Because this is going to happen. It's going to happen in the state, and if it doesn't happen here, it's going to happen in the town over. So this is my home. This is our home. It's important to grow business, not reject business, and I hope you'll take that into consideration. So, thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for what you guys do for the town. We appreciate that. Thanks.
Larry Quick, One State Road. I don't think we should opt out of anything. That's all I have to say on the matter. Any additional comments, Mr. Warner?
I would like to agree with this gentleman on the cannabis, on us allowing it. I have lupus, and I don't like any kind of pain medicine. I've seen what Oxy did to a couple of my friends. So I think based on the need for it for medical use is very important. And I just hope you guys agree to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals here tonight? Ms. Hartman?
I didn't actually prepare a statement on this, but I did a little bit of reading of the materials that you posted on the website. Thank you for doing that. I hope we don't opt out of this. I think there's a lot of money, tax revenue that we can get that the town very much needs. And medical marijuana has transformed communities and it's also transforming people's lives. So I just want to be in support of not opting out. Thank you.
Thank you. Are any additional comments here tonight? A public comment, a written comment will be accepted by the town clerk's office for up to 30 days from tonight's meeting. town board will take into consideration the statement made here tonight in their decision-making process, and we will come back at a future meeting and present some resolution.
Make a
Motion to close the public hearing.
We got a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye, thank you. Gentlemen, moving on to old business. The first item on the old business is a discussion on the 2022 tentative budget, which has been presented to the town board, the public, been published on the town's website. We talked about it at the last meeting. Committees were supposed to meet with department heads. Comments?
We are meeting tomorrow morning with the highway department. Finalize going over his budget.
I talked to John Rose, he had no changes.
Okay.
Water, Vinny was away.
Okay. So with that, the next action by the board is to take and transfer the stage of the budget from the tentative to the preliminary. In your package is a resolution approving the preliminary budget. Nuns pro ton. Hope I said that right. Okay. And I ask for a motion to accept that resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
All those, any discussion?
Yes. Yes. Was that last word you said, non-pro, whatever,
So Mr. Kovacs,
Now for then, we're adopting preliminary budget as of the last town board meeting and preliminary budget next subject of public hearing.
all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, we are required by public law to have a public hearing for consideration of public comments on the preliminary budget. I'm asking for a motion to set a public hearing on the preliminary budget for Thursday, November 4th, 2021 at 7:10.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Our last item of business at the previous town board meeting, a resolution was presented to the town board and the community articulating the town board's position on the creation of a county-wide landfill within the borders of the town of Ulster. Our position is that we would oppose the establishment of a landfill within the town of Ulster. And there is a resolution here tonight that will memorialize our position, and this resolution is directed to be distributed to the decision makers at the higher level when they come to consider their siting of a landfill. So may I have a
I'll make the
motion?
motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Kitchen, Councilman Morrow,
Absolutely.
Councilman Secreto,
Definitely.
Councilman Van Cleek is excused, Supervisor Quigley.
Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the scheduled business for the town of Ulster Town Board tonight. I'm pleased to open the floor to general comment on any topic that any individual would wish to address the board. Mr. Obujeski.
Good evening, everyone. I do have prepared remarks. I'll hand them out.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Regis Obujeski, 170 Ledge Road, Town of Ulster. This is a comment about the budget. Now preliminary, no good tonk. So this is he get no here and now. I just have some suggestions on preparing a preliminary budget for the citizens on November 4th for the budget hearing. I'm going to take this off if I may. What we're recommending are a few things. One, to explain the total business of the town of Ulster and its 6 cost centers, and why, for property tax purposes, the town board separates the general highway, the general fund and highway fund, for example, $2.65 million, from the other 4 cost centers, such as capital projects, water, sewer, non-major governmental funds, for example, $6 million.
I'm aware of why it's done. I don't think everybody is, I think that the scope of business for the town is much larger than the 12 million and change. To relate the general and highway funds to the tax levy, and I know you do that. For example, in the October 19th Daily Freeman article reported the 2022 budget at $12.65 million, which translates to an increase of 3.5% increase. Then I'd recommend showing the math, and I just give you an example. I won't read it because it'll be a little boring. But just to spell it out and what that means in terms of how many more dollars are needed. And on those numbers that were reported in the paper, by my figures, comes out to $442,000. And that's the shortfall to be made up by increased taxes or by other sources, by savings, let's say. 3, explain the shortfall of $442,000. It is due to the following net increased costs of operations. And I'd recommend not using up or down percentages. This went up so much, that went down so much in a percentage, rather to use whole rounded numbers of the reasons here. And just for example, X dollars for police wages, vehicle equipment and retirement costs, X dollars for highway personnel wages, X dollars for Social Security increases, whatever it happens to be, that really comes close to that $440,000. Explain that each year the town of Ulster generates net surpluses of over $1 million that are eventually identified as fund balances that fall into one of at least 4 categories: restricted, committed, assigned, or unassigned. I think this is a tricky category for a lot of people. That many people don't understand what it means, and I think an explanation would behoove us. Because our accumulated fund balances are robust and, in the spirit of transparency, give real examples of each. Place special emphasis on unassigned fund balances. For example, at the end of 2020, this should read 2020, our independent auditors, from our independent auditors, the town had an unassigned fund balance of $3.24 million. The October 3rd tentative budget reported the unassigned fund balance to be $2.09 million by the end of 2021. And where did the interesting part of that is where do these fund balances go, particularly the unassigned? These fund balances are then added to the fund balance totals from previous years. And I think, and again, in the spirit of transparency, that would be useful. Does the town have a tax stabilization reserve allowed by OSC, Office of the State Controller, to ensure that the tax levy does not go up or does not exceed the 2%? The public needs more and regular transparency regarding the fund balance accounts. For example, in the October 3rd tentative budget, the October 3rd tentative budget reveals the following restricted balances: $2.29 million for capital acquisitions. What are we planning to acquire? I think that's a reasonable question to pose and to answer. And $0 are appropriated for employee benefits, one of the fastest growing costs of our operations. It just those two things stand out to me. So anyway, thank you for your consideration of these matters.
Thank you. Any other individuals have any comments of the general nature here tonight? Sir? Ma'am?
I don't know if I'm in the right place, but I have a complaint about property that's on my road, which is on your road too, Glen Boulevard. It's owned by Viviani. I'm sure everybody knows Viviani. He bought a piece of property at auction 4 years ago, and all it is becoming a construction dump. It's next to our house.
Can I have the address?
Our house is 318 Glen I think it's 346. Lanier. It's 7 cabins. It was called the Clement Camp at one point. So, I think, and he bought it at auction. I think when somebody buys something at auction, there should be some kind of a law or rule that says it has to be done within a certain amount of time. Because I have pictures here, I don't know if you guys want to see them, of how bad this place is. We've dealt with James, the building inspector. He's talked to Viviani, and of course Viviani gives him, oh, it'll be done by September, it'll be done by this, it'll be done by then. And it's been 4 years. He can't keep anybody working for him because he's a pain in the neck. And he's given us so many problems. He played music next to our house. Never worked there, just played the music to drive us crazy. We had to call the cops. He said we put sand in his gas tank. This is our retirement home.
I understand. Mr. Tutt, we've talked about this premises before. Can you give us a status of where you are as the department head that oversees Mr. Bruno's activities?
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Viviani has 1 year to complete the project.
He's been there for 4 years. 4 years he's been there.
Well, unfortunately, I can't speak to the previous two. I'll have to go back now and pull the file because I've only been here 3. When he started there, I seem to remember him buying it
Yeah.
2 years ago.
3 years ago, 4
3
years ago. 4 years ago, before COVID, the year before COVID. So that's 4 years now.
When did he start work?
Exactly. All he's been doing, and I can show you the pictures, all he's been doing is dropping off stuff. I have a picture of him last night, dropping off 10 50-gallon plastic drums with nothing in it. Just everything is storage. He just uses his storage.
I got it. Can you give
Can I have your name?
me your,
Name?
for the town clerk, your name and your
Sure.
contact information? So
This is,
we'll get back to you. First of all, in order to do the work, we need the building permit. Under the
yeah.
building, we need to verify that.
Right.
Okay, and under the building permit, he has a certain amount of time. He has the ability to extend the building permit upon application. We will check into this and get back to you. I attended a Glenary Lake Association meeting about a month ago
Mhm.
and then had a conversation with Mr. Tutt about this after I came back because I heard about the same comments from that meeting. And we'll follow up on it.
Did you see the property as you drove by? You had.
Yes, I saw the property as
Yeah.
I drove. And I've had plenty of experience in dealing with Mr. Viviani.
Yes, I'm sure.
I've had him in
Everybody
court.
has.
I've had him in court
Yeah.
for taking and moving a mobile home onto a lot that he shouldn't have. So, I mean, yes, we have plenty of experience with him.
Yes, I mean, he has old vans there. He has, I mean, well, I can send you the pictures.
Okay.
But this is what it looked like when we bought next to it. And these are what it looks like now, which is, I had to buy a screen for my deck so I don't have to look at his property. We put up a fence, but
It's
I'm not
working.
gonna put expense out because of what he's doing. And like I said, everybody knows him, and I don't know why everybody lets him get away with what he's doing. But we're really upset now.
Thank you.
It's too much. It's too much.
What number are you, Kevin?
112.
Yeah, you
He
see.
drives
Oh, I
past
see
it
it.
every day.
Yeah, he sees it every day. He passes it every day. So, but I thank you.
Is that the very north
For your
end
time?
property?
No, the
No.
property she's talking about is in the middle. It's below the S turn. Is that correct? It's before the S
It's
turn.
before the S turn. Yeah, you have to see it. And like I said, I mean, he's been giving us so many problems. We had to call the cops to turn off the radio. And the mouth on this man is like ridiculous. So, all right.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming
thank you
in.
very much.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals here tonight that wish?
Simmons?
Laura?
That's right. Yeah. ONS? 914. Yeah, 914-489-2176. Can I just show you this? Sure. You can see.
Do you have them on,
I have them on my phone. I have them on here. This is, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. I need your email. But this is what, when we bought the place, this is what the next door looked like. This is.
So good evening, Laura Hartman. I live at 44 Catskill Avenue, and my questions tonight are just some follow-ups on some items that have happened and issues we've discussed over the past few months. And I realize you may not be able to answer these questions at this moment, but I want to go on record and hopefully get answers to them in the near future. We had the RRA here in July, and they did a presentation with their administration on July 15th. At that meeting, Mr. Quigley asked them three things: that they limit taking in food waste to a 25-mile radius. Do we know if they're complying with that and if that's happening? It was requested to bring up at their next board meeting that we are asking the RRA to present any land use changes to our town planning board and create a policy that says they will comply with this request. Has that been done? Mr. Quigley also asked them to set up a complaint process to log all communications from the public. Has that been done? When we had public hearings, the second item is we had public hearings about the purchase of the military vehicle. We were promised that there would be guidelines written which would be made public about how the vehicle would be used and under what circumstances. To the best of my knowledge, we have not seen that. Can we expect to see those guidelines made public at some point? And the third item is there were many public comments about the resident who has the obscene signs on his lawn on Rentham. The board said that they would look into what laws or law could be possibly proposed to protect the public from these disgusting public displays of hatred. Has there been any progress on that? Thank you.
Yes, I believe the progress is that the signs now say his anger is being taken out on the town of Ulster Town Board. Yes. That's true. So it is no longer directed at the President of the United States, it's directed at the town of Ulster Town Board.
Well, there still is something directed at the President of the United States. I was recently down there. I did see the other one. But somebody else could come along and do this. Did anybody find out any way that there's any law?
We'll have a full report at the next meeting.
Okay. And the other items as well?
So we will have the policy because it's already been written and been circulated.
Okay.
It's not ready for approval.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments here tonight?
I'll make a motion to close.
A second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, and we will see you on November 4th for the Town of Ulster Workshop meeting in November.